It was a warm summer afternoon in June 2015 when 16-year-old Mia Johnson decided to take a break from her usual routine. Living in a small town where everyone knew each other, Mia often found solace in the local park. The park was a vibrant place filled with laughter, children playing, and families enjoying picnics under the shade of sprawling oak trees. But on this particular day, something felt different. As Mia strolled along the winding path, she noticed a small group of children playing tag nearby. Their giggles echoed through the air, creating a stark contrast to the unsettling silence that seemed to envelop another corner of the park. Drawn by an inexplicable instinct, Mia veered off her usual route and headed toward the sound of rustling leaves. It was there, nestled against the trunk of an old tree, that she saw it, a small bundle wrapped in a faded blanket. At first, Mia thought it might be a lost doll or a forgotten toy. But as she approached, her heart raced with an unsettling realization. This was no toy. It was a baby. Mia's breath caught in her throat as she knelt beside the bundle. The baby was no more than a few weeks old, with tiny fingers curled into fists and soft wisps of dark hair peeking out from under the blanket. The child's face was peaceful, but Mia could sense an underlying vulnerability. Panic surged through her as she glanced around. Where were the parents? How could anyone leave such a precious life alone? With trembling hands, Mia gently lifted the blanket to check for any signs of distress. To her relief, the baby was warm and breathing steadily. But there were no signs of identification or any indication of how long this little one had been left there. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on Mia's shoulders. She knew she had to act quickly. Without wasting another moment, Mia pulled out her phone and dialed 911. Her voice shook as she explained the situation to the operator, who assured her that help was on the way. While waiting for emergency services to arrive, Mia cradled the baby in her arms, feeling an overwhelming mix of emotions, fear, compassion, and an unshakable urge to protect this innocent life. As minutes passed, Mia couldn't help but wonder about the circumstances that led to this moment. Who was this baby? Why had they been abandoned? Thoughts raced through her mind as she rocked gently back and forth, whispering soothing words to calm both herself and the child. Finally, sirens pierced through the air, growing louder as they approached. A police car pulled up alongside the park entrance, followed closely by an ambulance. Officers rushed toward Mia with concern etched on their faces. She stood up slowly, holding the baby close to her chest, as if shielding it from the world. "Thank you for calling us," one officer said gently as he knelt down to Mia's level. "You did the right thing." Mia nodded, tears welling in her eyes as she handed over the baby to a paramedic who had arrived with a warm smile and reassuring demeanor. The paramedic carefully examined the child before wrapping them in a soft blanket provided from their medical kit. As they prepared to transport the baby to safety, Mia felt an overwhelming sense of loss wash over her. She had only known this child for a short time, yet an inexplicable bond had formed between them in those fleeting moments. It felt surreal. How could someone so small be left alone in such a vast world? The officers took statements from Mia about what had happened while other paramedics checked on the baby's health. As they loaded the infant into the ambulance, Mia felt a mix of relief and sadness. She knew that this child would be taken care of, but also realized that their journey was just beginning. In that moment of chaos and uncertainty, Mia made a silent promise to herself. She would not forget this day or this child. She would follow their story wherever it led, because deep down inside her heart, she felt that their lives were intertwined in ways she couldn't yet comprehend. Little did Mia know that years later, fate would bring them together again in ways that neither could have predicted, a twist of destiny that would change both their lives forever. The ambulance sped away from the park, its sirens wailing as it disappeared into the distance. Mia stood frozen, watching until the sound faded into silence. The reality of what had just happened began to sink in, and a whirlwind of emotions surged through her: relief, confusion, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. She had done what she thought was right, but the weight of the moment lingered heavily on her heart. In the days that followed, Mia found it difficult to return to her normal routine. School felt different. Her friends chatted about summer plans and upcoming vacations. But all she could think about was the baby she had found. News of the abandoned child spread quickly through their small town, and Mia became a reluctant focal point of attention. Reporters came knocking at her door seeking interviews and insights into the incident. Mia's parents were supportive but concerned. They encouraged her to talk about her feelings, but Mia often brushed them off. She felt an inexplicable connection to that baby, a bond that went beyond mere sympathy. It haunted her thoughts during class and kept her awake at night. Who was that child? What would happen to them? Would they ever know love and security? As weeks turned into months, Mia learned from news reports that the baby had been placed in a foster home while authorities searched for the biological parents. The case garnered attention from local charities and child welfare organizations, all eager to provide support and resources for both the baby and any potential caregivers. Despite this positive news, Mia felt a twinge of sadness every time she heard updates. She wished she could do more. One afternoon, while scrolling through social media, Mia stumbled upon a post from a local charity that focused on helping abandoned children find loving homes. They were hosting an event to raise awareness about adoption and foster care. Without thinking twice, Mia decided to volunteer. She believed that if she couldn't help that baby directly, perhaps she could make a difference for other children in need. The day of the event arrived, and Mia was filled with nervous excitement. The community center was buzzing with activity as families mingled with volunteers and representatives from various organizations. Colorful banners adorned the walls, each one highlighting stories of hope and resilience from children who had found their forever homes. Mia spent the day setting up booths, handing out flyers, and sharing information about the importance of fostering and adoption. She met several families who had adopted children or were in the process of becoming foster parents. Each story touched her heart deeply. It reminded her of the baby she had found in the park, the innocent lives waiting for love and stability. As she spoke with attendees, Mia shared her own experience with finding the abandoned baby. Her story resonated with many people at the event. Some even came up to her afterward to express their admiration for her courage and compassion. It felt good to share her story. It gave her a sense of purpose amidst the uncertainty she had felt since that fateful day. At one point during the event, a woman approached Mia with kind eyes and an open smile. "I heard your story," she said softly. "It takes a lot of strength to do what you did." Her name was Sarah, a social worker who specialized in child welfare cases. Mia felt an instant connection with Sarah. There was something comforting about her presence. They talked for hours about foster care systems, adoption processes, and how communities could come together to support vulnerable children. Sarah encouraged Mia to consider pursuing a career in social work or child advocacy, something that ignited a spark within Mia. As the event wrapped up, Sarah invited Mia to join a support group for young people interested in advocating for children in need. "You have such a beautiful heart," Sarah said earnestly. "You could really make a difference." Mia hesitated at first. She was still processing everything that had happened since finding that baby. But deep down inside, she knew this was more than just a passing interest. It was a calling. Months passed as Mia became more involved in advocacy work through various organizations dedicated to helping children in foster care. She attended workshops, participated in community outreach programs, and even spoke at schools about the importance of empathy and understanding toward those who faced difficult circumstances. Despite all this progress in her life, thoughts of that baby remained ever present in her mind. She wondered how they were doing, if they were safe and happy in their new environment, or if they still felt lost without their biological family. Then one day, while volunteering at a local shelter for families in crisis, Mia received news that would change everything once again. There would be an upcoming adoption event where families could meet children currently in foster care looking for permanent homes. Her heart raced at the thought of being able to see children like the one she had found years ago, children who deserved love and belonging just as much as anyone else. With renewed determination, Mia signed up to help organize this event as well. Little did she know that this event would serve as a pivotal moment not only for herself, but also for someone else. A reunion awaited them both that would alter their lives forever. As the years passed, Mia Johnson transformed from a troubled teenager into a passionate advocate for children in need. Her experiences after discovering the abandoned baby shaped her life in profound ways. She graduated high school with honors and earned a scholarship to a local university, where she pursued a degree in social work. Her heart was set on making a difference in the lives of vulnerable children, inspired by the memory of that fateful day in the park. Meanwhile, the baby Mia had found, who was named Lily by her foster parents, was growing up in a loving home. After being placed in foster care, Lily was eventually adopted by a kind couple who had longed for a child of their own. They provided her with everything she needed: love, security, and a nurturing environment. However, Lily often felt an emptiness inside her, a lingering question about her origins and why she had been abandoned. Lily's adoptive parents were open about her adoption from an early age. They encouraged her to ask questions and explore her feelings about her past. As she grew older, Lily became increasingly curious about her biological family. She often wondered what led to her being left alone in the park that day. Despite the warmth of her adoptive home, there was an undeniable void that she yearned to fill. In high school, Lily excelled academically and was actively involved in various extracurricular activities. She was known for her kindness and empathy toward others, traits that seemed to stem from her own experiences as an adopted child. Friends often remarked on how mature she was for her age. They admired her ability to connect with those who faced challenges. One day during her senior year, while researching potential career paths, Lily stumbled upon social work as a field of study. The more she learned about it, the more it resonated with her own journey. She envisioned herself helping other children like herself, those who had experienced abandonment or loss, and providing them with the support they needed to thrive. As graduation approached, Lily decided to apply to universities with strong social work programs. Her adoptive parents were supportive of her decision and encouraged her to follow her dreams. They understood how important it was for Lily to find her own path and make sense of her past. On the day of graduation, as Lily stood on stage receiving her diploma, she felt a mix of pride and anticipation for what lay ahead. She knew that embarking on this new chapter would not only be about pursuing a career, but also about understanding herself better, about reconciling with the pieces of her identity that remained unknown. Meanwhile, Mia was also navigating significant changes in her life. After completing her degree in social work, she landed an internship at a local child welfare agency. The work was challenging, but rewarding. Every day brought new opportunities to advocate for children in foster care and help families navigate complex systems. Mia's passion for social work deepened as she encountered stories similar to hers, the stories of children waiting for forever homes and those who had experienced abandonment or neglect. Each case reminded her of Lily and fueled her desire to create positive change in their lives. One afternoon at work, Mia attended a meeting focused on an upcoming adoption event aimed at connecting families with children in foster care. As she listened to discussions about logistics and outreach strategies, something inside her stirred, a feeling that this event would be significant not just for the children but potentially for herself as well. As the event date approached, Mia dedicated herself wholeheartedly to its success. She spent countless hours organizing activities, reaching out to families interested in adoption, and ensuring that every child's story was represented with dignity and respect. On the day of the event, Mia arrived early at the community center filled with excitement and nervous energy. Colorful banners decorated the walls, showcasing success stories of families formed through adoption. Tables were set up with information about available children, each accompanied by photographs and personal narratives that highlighted their unique personalities. As families began to arrive, Mia moved through the crowd with purpose, greeting attendees and sharing information about each child's journey. She felt fulfilled knowing that this event could change lives forever. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the event, Mia noticed a young woman standing alone near one of the tables, displaying profiles of older children waiting for adoption. There was something familiar about her. Mia felt an inexplicable pull toward this stranger. Lily had come to the event seeking answers, hoping to learn more about adoption resources while also exploring potential connections with other adoptees. As she browsed through profiles of children available for adoption, she felt a mix of hope and trepidation. Perhaps today would bring clarity or closure regarding her own past. When their eyes met across the room, time seemed to stand still for both women. In that moment, an unspoken connection sparked between them, a recognition that transcended words. Mia felt drawn to Lily's warmth and curiosity. It reminded her so much of herself at that age. Gathering courage, Mia approached Lily with a friendly smile. "Hi there. Are you looking for information on any specific kids?" she asked gently. Lily looked up, surprised yet intrigued by this stranger's kindness. "Actually," she replied hesitantly, "I'm just exploring. I'm adopted myself." Mia's heart raced at those words. She sensed they shared something deeper than mere coincidence. "I found an abandoned baby years ago," she said softly, feeling compelled to share part of her story. Lily's eyes widened as realization washed over her. Could this be fate? "That baby? You found them?" Mia nodded slowly. Emotions swelled within both women as they connected over their shared experiences. One as an advocate who had once held a vulnerable child in need of love and protection, the other as that very child who had grown up yearning for answers. In that moment of vulnerability and understanding, both women knew they were meant to cross paths again, two lives intertwined by fate's design, a reunion destined not only to heal old wounds, but also to forge new beginnings filled with hope. As Mia and Lily stood facing each other, a whirlwind of emotions surged between them. The air was thick with unspoken words, and for a moment they both felt as if the world around them had faded away. It was as if time had collapsed, bringing them together in this pivotal moment that neither had anticipated. "I can't believe it," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You found me, or at least you found the baby I once was." Her eyes shimmered with a mix of disbelief and hope. Mia nodded, her heart racing. "Yes, I did. It was years ago in that park. I never forgot about you. I always wondered what happened to you after that day." Lily took a deep breath, processing the reality of standing before the woman who had unknowingly shaped her life. "I've thought about you too," she admitted. "I've always wanted to know who found me and what my life could have been like if things were different." Mia felt a lump form in her throat as she listened to Lily's words. "You were so small and vulnerable," she said softly. "I remember holding you in my arms and feeling this overwhelming need to protect you. I never imagined that one day we would meet again." The two women exchanged stories about their lives since that fateful day in the park. Mia shared her journey through college, her passion for social work, and her commitment to helping children in foster care. She spoke of the countless hours spent advocating for kids like Lily, those who needed love and support to thrive. Lily listened intently, feeling a sense of pride swell within her. "I'm so glad you're doing this work," she said earnestly. "It means so much to me knowing that someone cared enough to make a difference." In turn, Lily opened up about her life with her adoptive parents, the love they had given her and the challenges she faced growing up as an adopted child. She spoke candidly about her feelings of abandonment and how they had shaped her desire to understand her roots. "It's been hard sometimes," Lily confessed, her voice trembling slightly. "Even though my parents are amazing, there's always been this part of me that feels incomplete, like I'm searching for something I can't quite grasp." Mia reached out and placed a comforting hand on Lily's shoulder. "You're not alone in this," she said gently. "So many people share those feelings. It's okay to want answers. It's okay to seek out your story." As they continued to talk, the connection between them deepened. They shared laughter and tears, exchanging memories and dreams for the future. Mia learned about Lily's aspirations to become a social worker herself, a path that mirrored her own journey. "I want to help kids like me," Lily said passionately. "I want them to know they're not defined by their pasts, but by the futures they can create for themselves." Mia felt a surge of admiration for this young woman standing before her, someone who had faced adversity with grace and resilience. "You will make an incredible social worker," she said confidently. You have such empathy and understanding. Those qualities will help so many children." As the event continued around them, Mia and Lily found themselves lost in conversation, oblivious to the bustling activity nearby. They discussed their hopes for the future, Lily's plans for college and Mia's ambitions within child welfare advocacy. "Maybe we could work together someday," Lily suggested with a spark of excitement in her eyes. "I would love that," Mia replied wholeheartedly. "Imagine what we could accomplish together." Just then, an announcement echoed through the community center, calling families to gather for an orientation session about adoption procedures. The sound jolted them back to reality. "We should go," Mia said reluctantly but with a smile. "This is an important event for so many kids looking for homes." Lily nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness as they made their way toward the gathering area. As they walked side by side, it struck both women how surreal it was to be sharing this moment together after all these years. Once seated among other families interested in adoption, Mia looked over at Lily and whispered, "Are you okay?" Lily smiled back, though there was a hint of apprehension in her eyes. "Yeah, just nervous about what comes next." The orientation began with speakers sharing success stories of families formed through adoption, heartwarming tales of love and connection that resonated deeply with everyone present. As each story unfolded, Mia couldn't help but glance at Lily beside her. She could see the emotions playing across her face, joy mixed with longing. After the session concluded, families were encouraged to mingle and ask questions about potential matches with children available for adoption. Mia watched as Lily approached one of the tables displaying profiles of older children waiting for homes. With newfound courage, Lily began speaking with representatives from various organizations about opportunities for mentorship or volunteer roles within child welfare programs. Mia felt immense pride watching Lily take these steps toward making a difference in others' lives while also seeking clarity about her own journey. As the event began winding down, Mia knew she couldn't let this moment pass without making plans for their future together. She approached Lily once more, determination shining in her eyes. "Can we stay in touch?" Mia asked earnestly. "I want to be there for you as you navigate your journey." Lily's face lit up at the suggestion. It felt like a lifeline being thrown into turbulent waters. "Absolutely, I'd love that." They exchanged contact information before stepping outside into the cool evening air, a refreshing contrast after hours spent indoors surrounded by emotion-laden stories. As they stood beneath the twilight sky filled with stars beginning to twinkle overhead, both women felt an overwhelming sense of hope blossoming within them, a promise forged by shared experiences destined to shape their lives moving forward. "I can't believe we found each other," Lily said softly as they prepared to part ways for the night. "Neither can I," Mia replied with genuine warmth radiating from her heart. "But I truly believe this is just the beginning." With one last embrace filled with unspoken understanding between two souls connected by fate's design, they parted ways, each carrying within them seeds planted during their reunion, seeds that would grow into something beautiful over time. Little did they know that their paths would continue intertwining in ways neither could yet imagine, a journey filled with purpose where healing would flourish alongside newfound connections rooted deeply in love. 5. In the weeks following their emotional reunion, Mia and Lily kept in touch regularly. They exchanged texts, shared updates about their lives, and even scheduled video calls to discuss their dreams and aspirations. Each conversation deepened their bond, transforming their initial connection into a meaningful friendship. Mia found herself inspired by Lily's determination to pursue a career in social work. She admired how Lily was channeling her experiences into a desire to help others. It reminded Mia of her own journey, how a single moment had set her on a path of advocacy and compassion. Lily, on the other hand, felt empowered by Mia's unwavering support. Knowing that someone who had once held her as a baby was now a passionate advocate for children in need gave her hope. It reinforced her belief that she could make a difference in the world, just as Mia had done. One afternoon, as they chatted over video call, Lily shared her latest news with excitement. I applied to the social work program at the university where you studied. I really want to follow in your footsteps," she said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Mia's heart swelled with pride. "That's amazing, Lily. I'm so proud of you. You'll be an incredible social worker. I have no doubt about it." Their conversations often turned reflective as well. They discussed the complexities of identity, belonging, and the emotional challenges that came with being adopted. Both women had faced their own struggles, but found solace in knowing they were not alone. "I still think about that day in the park," Lily admitted one evening. "It feels like it was just yesterday. Sometimes I wonder what my life would have been like if things had turned out differently." Mia nodded thoughtfully. "I understand. I often think about how that moment shaped my life too. It pushed me into a field where I could help others, where I could advocate for kids who needed someone to stand up for them." As they continued to share their thoughts and feelings, both women realized how their experiences intertwined in ways they hadn't fully grasped before. They were not just two individuals with a shared history. They were part of a larger narrative about resilience, hope, and healing. Around this time, Mia was invited to speak at a local conference focused on child welfare advocacy. She was excited but also nervous. Public speaking always came with its own set of challenges. However, she felt compelled to share her story, not just for herself, but for all the children whose voices often went unheard. On the day of the conference, Mia stood backstage waiting for her turn to speak. The auditorium was filled with advocates, social workers, and community members eager to learn and engage in meaningful discussions about improving systems for vulnerable children. When it was finally her turn, she stepped onto the stage and looked out at the audience. Taking a deep breath, she began sharing her journey. The day she found Lily in the park and how it changed her life forever. "I found an abandoned baby," she recounted with emotion in her voice. "That moment ignited my passion for social work and advocacy for children in need. But what I didn't realize then was how that baby would grow up to become someone who would inspire me just as much." As Mia spoke about her reunion with Lily and their developing friendship, she noticed tears glistening in the eyes of many audience members. She emphasized the importance of connection, how each individual's story could impact another's life profoundly. "Every child deserves love and support," Mia said passionately. "We must work together as a community to ensure that no child feels abandoned or forgotten." After her speech, Mia received an outpouring of support from attendees who resonated with her message. Many approached her to share their own stories or express gratitude for shedding light on such an important issue. Meanwhile, Lily was busy preparing for her own journey into higher education. She enrolled in community college while waiting to hear back from the university regarding her application for the social work program. The anticipation was exhilarating yet nerve-wracking. She longed for acceptance but also knew that whatever happened next would be part of her unique path. One evening during a call with Mia, Lily expressed her worries about not being accepted into the program. "What if I'm not good enough?" she asked hesitantly. Mia smiled reassuringly through the screen. "You are more than enough, Lily. Remember that this is just one step on your journey. Whether you get in this time or not doesn't define your worth or your potential." Lily nodded slowly, but still felt anxious about what lay ahead. Weeks passed until one fateful day when an email notification pinged on Lily's phone while she was studying at home. Her heart raced as she opened it. Her acceptance letter into the social work program awaited her. Joy surged through her as she read the words confirming what she had hoped for all along. "Mom, Dad!" she shouted excitedly as she ran down the hall to share the news with her adoptive parents. When they embraced her tightly, tears of joy streamed down their faces. This was more than just an acceptance letter. It represented years of hard work and determination paying off. Later that evening, Lily called Mia to share the incredible news. "I got accepted!" she exclaimed breathlessly. Mia cheered from across the screen, clapping her hands in celebration. "I knew you could do it. This is just the beginning of an amazing journey." As they celebrated together virtually, both women felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for each other. Their paths had crossed at precisely the right moment in time. Months passed quickly as both Mia and Lily navigated their respective journeys. Mia continuing her advocacy work while mentoring young people interested in social services. Lily diving headfirst into her studies while volunteering at local organizations supporting children in foster care. Their friendship blossomed further through shared experiences, attending conferences together when possible, or simply enjoying casual chats over coffee during breaks from their busy lives. One day, while volunteering at an event aimed at raising awareness about foster care reform, Mia spotted a familiar face among attendees, a young girl named Sophie who had been placed in foster care after experiencing neglect at home. Sophie reminded Mia so much of herself years ago. She exuded resilience despite facing immense challenges throughout childhood. Mia approached Sophie gently and introduced herself as someone who cared deeply about advocating for kids like her, kids who deserved love and stability no matter their circumstances. With each interaction between them over time came newfound trust, a connection forged through shared understanding that transcended words alone. Meanwhile, Lily dedicated herself wholeheartedly to learning everything possible within social work. From understanding trauma-informed practices to exploring policies affecting vulnerable populations, she immersed herself completely into this world where change could happen through compassion-driven action. As graduation approached for both women, Mia ready to celebrate yet another milestone while Lily prepared for hers, their lives continued intertwining beautifully amidst shared values, rooted deeply within love for others experiencing hardship or adversity along life's journey. On graduation day itself, amidst cheers echoing throughout campus grounds, it became clear how far both had come since that fateful day years ago when fate brought them together under extraordinary circumstances, a testament not only to resilience but also hope shining brightly against all odds stacked against them both individually, yet collectively united by purpose-driven passion toward creating positive change within society overall. As they stood side by side wearing caps adorned proudly atop heads filled with dreams waiting patiently ahead, their hearts swelled, knowing this wasn't merely an ending but rather another beginning filled with endless possibilities waiting patiently ahead. Together, they would continue advocating fiercely, not only for themselves but also those whose voices remained unheard. A legacy built upon compassion, woven intricately through every experience shared between two souls forever connected by destiny itself. In this way, through love forged amidst trials faced along paths walked together, they would ensure no child ever felt abandoned again, a promise made stronger than any bond formed throughout life's unpredictable journey ahead.